Yes, what is up everyone? And as you can tell, I am not in my normal spot because I'm in New York City for the week with my family, where I am also going to do a pickup game that's happening tomorrow. So check the description for the details after you watch this. The Weekend in Rewind. Good weekend, Romelu Lukaku. With unhappy or happy or no one really knows, Paul Pogba out of the 18 due to illness, Lukaku did what he does best, and that's score goals against clubs that aren't in the top 6 of the Premier League, with his brace leading Manchester United to a 2-0 win over Huddersfield to put United into the FA Cup quarterfinals against Brighton. Also, you might think I'm making fun of Lukaku here, but I assure you that I'm not. It is not easy to score goals in general, so I tip my hat to him for being able to do it consistently against lesser opposition. Okay, fine, I'm kind of making fun of him. Bad weekend. Neymar. Okay, fine, he didn't have a bad weekend. He scored a goal and had an assist and was the best player on the field in PSG's 5-2 win over Strasbourg, but what does that even mean anymore? I mean, after PSG's capitulation yet again in another big Champions League game in Spain, is League competitive enough to keep him and his team sharp for the biggest games against the best competition? I've decided that I'm not so sure, which means I'm uncertain as to whether I can get excited about Neymar's performances in France, because this is what he should be doing against lesser competition, just like Romelu Lukaku. But I digress. Good weekend, Barcelona, who with their very professional 2-0 win, and by professional, I mean winning a game that maybe they didn't deserve to win against a tough Eibar team on the road. Messi and his teammates remain unbeaten in 31 consecutive La Liga matches, which equals their club record from the 2010-2011 season. Also, fun fact for you, only Real Sociedad in 1980 have set a longer unbeaten streak in La Liga with 38. So we'll see if this Neymar-less Barcelona squad, who actually seem a lot better and more well-balanced without Neymar in the team, can actually do it. I think they can, but I also feel like the Champions League is going to wear them down as well. So they're going to need Coutinho and Dembele and some of their other guys that were signed to replace Neymar can come in and fill the void and make some big plays. Gooder weekend, Ryan Qureshi, who was the lone winner of the Warm Ballers swag this week after he correctly predicted the right score for the Eibar Barcelona game. So congrats to you, my friend. Also, there were so many of you who got the score right. I'm just going to have to offer up everybody else that got it right but didn't win a big fat I'm sorry. We're running low on the Warm Ballers gear because the merch is fire, so I can only offer up one winner this week, but hopefully more in the future once I put a new order in. Also, if you want to skip the luck factor and just get some stuff without having to pick the right score every week, go to warmballers.com now and get something special for yourself or for your friends or whatever. And also ×2, you should know that all profits of the Warm Ballers merch goes to charity. And also ×3, Rayanne, hit me up on the YouTube messages and I'll sort you out. Goodest weekend, Kevin Gameiro. Manager Iño's favorite all-time player scored the game-winning goal in Atletico Madrid's big 2-0 win over Athletic Bilbao to help Atleti keep pace with Barcelona, because that's what Kevin Gameiro does. Go on, Gameiro! Best weekend ever, Rochdale. Because the League One side, who are at the very bottom of their respective division, which is 2 divisions below the Premier League, scored an equalizer in injury time to draw 2-2 with the Tottenham side, who had fielded 9 players with international experience in their starting 11 and who still couldn't get the job done despite that. And that is a very Spurs thing to do, which means that there's going to be a replay of this FA Cup 5th round game at Wembley, which is awesome for Rochdale, but not so much for Spurs, who already have a pretty crowded fixture list. Bad weekend, Inter Milan, with one of the best own goals that you'll ever see, and roll it, Mike K.
Arriva solamente ora il sostegno di Djukanovic, poi il cross è clamoroso, autogol di Ranocchia per il vantaggio del Genoa al 45esimo.
Inter's revival was pretty short-lived after they lost to Genoa 2-0, which dropped them into 4th after Roma put together a very impressive performance to beat Udinese on the road 2-0, which now sees Roma into 3rd. But back to Inter, after starting the season on a 15-game unbeaten run, they've now only won once since December 3rd, having drawn 8 and lost 3 over that time span, and that is just, I don't know how you say it in Italian, but in English it's unacceptable. Good weekend, Marco Asensio. After being the spark that Real Madrid needed to pull away from PSG in leg 1 of their Champions League matchup last week, Asensio shed his super sub status to start against Real Betis this weekend, and he was like, you know what? I'm just gonna score 2 goals because I can, which helped Madrid notch a big and highly entertaining 5-3 win over Betis, which makes me kind of want Zinedine Zidane to sit Benzema and Isco more often and let Ronaldo and Bale play up top with Lucas Vazquez and Asensio on either side of them, or maybe even between them, or wherever they want to go, because it's an awesome 4-2-4 formation. It was a lot of fun to watch, and I hope they do it again soon. Bad weekend, Irving Lozano. The man also known as the Mexican Christian Pulisic. And how many people did I just trigger by saying that? Okay, fine, I'll start over. The man known as Mexico's future, who is leading the Eredivisie in goals at the moment, got a straight red card for throwing an elbow to the face of an opponent right before halftime, with his club PSV Eindhoven up with a 2-0 lead. So, let's fast forward to the end of the game because it ended 2-2, even though PSV did have a couple of chances to win it, and they dropped 2 valuable points since Ajax did the business 1-0 on the road over Zwolle, which means that PSV's lead at the top is now only 5 points, and I believe they should start getting nervous. If they're not nervous already, they should be nervous. Good weekend, Bayern Munich. With many of their first teamers being rested in preparation for their Champions League matchup against Besiktas midweek, Bayern needed their top first teamer, Robert Lewandowski, to come off the bench and be the hero by scoring a penalty in injury time to secure a 2-1 win and all 3 points over Wolfsburg, which now gives them a 19-point lead at the top of the table, as they definitely are going to cruise to their 6th straight league title. Also, Super Bayern are playing so well right now that I'm starting to believe that they have to be one of the favorites to win the Champions League, especially if they get another favorable draw after they beat Besiktas in the round of 16. Bad weekend. Julian Nagelsmann, the very hyped super young manager of Hoffenheim, who they like to call Baby Mourinho, which I'm not sure if that should be taken as a compliment anymore, has been bang average at his job after being rumored about 4 or 5 months ago about taking over at Bayern Munich at the beginning of next season. So maybe we can attribute this averageness to other things, but his concentration definitely seems to have suffered since that rumor started circulating, and I really feel like his club has suffered as well, because they went from competing for 2nd to dropping all the way to 9th. And now with their 2-1 loss to Schalke this weekend, who have a 32-year-old super young hyped manager of their own in Domenico Tedesco, Nagelsmann is not even the coolest young manager in the Bundesliga anymore. Good weekend, Chelsea. After their solid 4-0 win over Hull City in the FA Cup, which was another reminder to Antonio Conte that Willian needs to play more after his quality 2-goal performance, the Blues are not only heading into the first leg of their round of 16 Champions League matchup against Barcelona with some real confidence. I mean, even Olivier Giroud scored his first ever goal for the club. They are also one of the few clubs that Leo Messi has never, ever scored against. In fact, Messi has played against them 8 times. That's right, count it, 8 times, and he has never scored. So you couple this confidence with whatever voodoo magic they have over Messi, and maybe, just maybe, they have a chance over a Barcelona team that's only lost 1 game all season. No, that's not gonna happen. What am I even saying? Good weekend, bad weekend, Major League Soccer. The good, with Arjen Robben's contract set to expire at Bayern Munich at the end of this season, the 34-year-old Dutch winger mentioned publicly that the United States is a possible destination. The bad, if he did come to MLS, it would continue to perpetuate the perception that we have a retirement league going over here. However, and as much as I usually roll my eyes about the possibility of getting yet another aging superstar, I am a fan of our younger players here in the US being exposed to someone who has seen it all, much like Bastian Schweinsteiger instantly made the Chicago Fire better last season with his presence and professionalism, and I think Robben would do the same. Now it's just a matter of what team he would go to in the league. And I think a really good fit, if he didn't go to one of the big market teams, would be DC United, so they can open up their new stadium with a big name. And I think he would do it. He would look good in those colors too. Bad weekend, West Brom. And what was supposed to be a team-building exercise ahead of their final push to not get relegated, which they probably will anyway because Alan Pardew's in charge, 4 of their players, which included veterans that should know better, Johnny Evans and Gareth Barry, broke curfew and stole a taxi outside of a McDonald's and then left it outside of the hotel where the team was staying in Barcelona. And I'm not sure what genius thought that was a good idea, that they couldn't trace it back to them, which is what I like to call top-notch role models on what not to do. Good weekend, Benevento. Sure, we can talk about the top of Serie A and how Napoli barely beat Spal 1-0 on a great goal by Alon, so check the description for the highlight of that. It was very good, which helped Napoli stay 1 point above Juventus, who also won 1-0 over Torino, and welcome the return of Paulo Dybala, which is big news for them. But it's the bottom of the table that I'm very interested in this week, because Benevento won only their 3rd game out out of the 25 they've played so far in Serie A, and that was a 3-2 victory over Crotone, which now puts Benevento, well, that puts them still on the bottom of the table, but they do have 10 points, only 11 points from safety with 13 games to go, and I want to see if they can do it. Now, I'm pretty sure they can't, but you never know. Okay, I know, but miracles do happen. Also, for another team in Serie A that I want to see if they can do it, I think I can, it's AC Milan, who've won 5 out of their last 6 matches, including beating Sampdoria, the club right above them in the standings this weekend, 1-0, which was a huge result because it puts them in a tie on points with Sampdoria for the last Europa League spot, and it puts them only 7 points behind Inter Milan, who have to be one of the worst top sides in Europe at the moment, if you consider Inter a top side. I don't know if you do or if you don't. So can Milan do it? Don't ask me. I don't know. I'm not like a master predictor or anything. Actually, I am a master predictor. So no, Milan will not catch Inter, but they will qualify for the Europa League. Bad weekend, Leon. Listen, amigos, no Landon Donovan, no Fiesta. You don't play him this past Thursday, and guess what happens? You lose 5-1 to Santos. Then you don't play him over the weekend while you're up a man for 70 minutes at home, and you can only muster a 1-1 draw. So I didn't want to have to do this, but you have earned it. And everybody else, you guys can say it with me. You ready? Listo? No, mommy's winning! Good weekend, Marco Reus. The former FIFA 17 cover star, which many say was the best FIFA game of all time, played in only his 2nd game all season after recovering from a severe knee injury. Well, once he got back, he reclaimed his captain's armband and then, as he does, scored an incredible game winner to help Dortmund beat Mönchengladbach in the Borussia Derby, which helps keep Dortmund in 2nd place. So, way to go, Marco. Bad weekend. Bahia and Vitória. With their state league match in Brazil tied 1-1 with 11 minutes to go, the referee called the game off and awarded a 3-0 result to Bahia after he issued his 5th red card to Vitória, which was his 9th red card that he issued in the game. Yes, 9 total red cards, and that was mainly because there was a brawl on the field after Vitória equalized. But that wasn't even the best part for me. The best part was that Sergio Ramos was not one of the people that got a red card. And the other best part for me was that they were calling this the Peace Derby before the game to make sure everyone, the fans and the players, were being respectful, and they definitely were not. So I don't know if that Peace Derby propaganda is the way to go in the future. All right, that's it. That is all I got. So stay awesome, as always. Thank you for the support, as always. Let me know if I missed anyone, as always. And then be on the lookout for career mode tomorrow, as manager Eno nears the end of his season with 2 trophies on the line, and I think he can do it. I think he can. I think he can. I think he can. I think he can. Later.